Hello. I've expressed in the past to you guys about my relational dynamic with my son, and I've recently I've decided, in order to protect myself when it comes to his inability to practice empathy and actually give a damn about his own actions, I have decided to cut communication. I have also decided to morally offer the bare minimum. And that is keeping him alive. Literally, it's my obligation to keep him alive. He has shelter, he gets food, he has electricity, he has running water, and as of right now, he doesn't need anything more than that. So that's what he gets from me. But today I decided to speak to him, and when I say we don't speak, we do not speak unless I am the one who comes to him and maybe ask him a question or tell him he needs to do something. But other than that, we don't speak. He doesn't come out of it. He makes sure, he makes sure he stays out of my way as I navigate my life. And this has been going on since June. I can count how many times we've actually interacted with one another. I know he's alive and well because the food is being eaten. Yeah. Anyway, so I was intuitively guided to speak to him today. That smells good, like during, for more than one reason, but the second reason was more intuitive than anything, and it led us into a conversation which helped me better understand him. I still don't agree with his choices, and because of that, I don't know if there's a saying or what, but this is what's coming to me. We practice, when you practice things, you become really good at it, if you choose to. That's why we study and we practice things, because we want to become good at something for whatever reason, right? And I was guided to tell him that exactly that. So if he decides to practice daily or very often to be disrespectful by way of his responses, and hurtful, he's gonna become good at it, and that's what has happened. And if I was to continue to tolerate that, he would become a master at it. That's why we got to be careful what we practice. We have to be mindful of how we're showing up with ourselves first and foremost, and with others that we claim we care about, which brings me to a very vulnerable question that I was guided to ask him, because I was starting to see and understand that he's not operating from a level of self-awareness, I should say. definitely not in a spiritual aspect. And I respect that because everybody is not spiritual. Yes, we're all spirits having a human experience, but everybody is just not tapped in. And even if they are tapped in, everybody is not naturally tapped in. And yeah. So as we began to continue, as we continue to converse, and for me to gain more understanding of who he is, because I see him in a different light now, and through love, I'm still trying to understand who he is, although I don't like it. I don't like his choices. I asked him, does he understand the difference between doing things from a conscious standpoint or doing things from a societal standpoint, aka the Matrix, because a lot of people they're doing things because they feel obligated to do it based on what society has programmed them to do, or society has programmed them to think that they should do, even if it go against what they should do. That's why I say, I think that's why a lot of people have a lot of issues. No, that's why a lot of people have issues, because they don't know what the fuck they want, or they do know what they want and they still go against what they want. How you betray yourself? I've been there. We get into situations because we keep betraying ourselves. If you don't like somebody or you don't like something, don't fuck with it. And I had to be honest with him and tell him, I don't like you. Based on how you treat me, I do not like you. And it's so fucked up that things have to be that way. But the more I accept that for what it is, the more free I feel. And I'm gonna show up who I am. Even though our dynamic is the way that it is, I'm still parenting. This is still parenting. It's just parenting from another angle. Okay. Now, I asked him, does he love and care about me from a place within himself that he has chosen and has also chosen to cultivate and build on that? Or does he love and care for me from a societal standard? And he answered me honestly, which I respect, because I'm looking for clarity and honesty. And he said he loves and cares for me from a societal standard. And I explained to him as I was processing it, it makes sense, because only a person is gonna, he doesn't see me as a human being. He doesn't see me separate from anybody else in this world, clearly, if he's choosing to constantly disrespect me. He says he doesn't wake up every day choosing to do so, but when he wants to, because I'm not actively making him comfortable, he chooses to meet me with disrespect and still expects me to show up in the same way. And my son will crucify me because I'm angry. He will crucify me because I'm choosing not to take his words over his actions, and yeah, so I asked him that, and he answered, and it was honest, it was raw, and that's what it is. I have a better understanding as to why you know, and the acceptance in that, I say all the time, and I live by this: no one has to love you, no one has to care about you, not even your children, not even your parents. No one is obligated to do these things. You are, though. You're obligated to love yourself, which is why you are able to love the individuals that choose not to love you, you know. And it hurts. It hurts, but the more I'm able to see my son very clearly again, the more free I feel, the less burden I feel. And I love that for me, because for so long I've held on to people just because of longevity, just because of titles. And I remember saying some time ago, when I really was standing on business when it comes to my healing journey, I will cut my own children off if it's for the betterment of me. I'm not going to let anybody treat me less than who and what I'm supposed to be treated as. It's not my problem if someone doesn't see me. It's not my problem if someone can't meet me. My son is not 6 years old. He is 16. And next month he will be 17. Absolutely not. Right? I actually feel very free. Besides just with the clarity, I feel even more freer because he is older. And we're parting ways right now. Right in my mind, it's temporary. We've even spoken further about like our dynamic right now. He's comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with it, and I'm sending him away. And I asked him, was it going to stay the same once he's away? And he said until he works on himself and however which way he wants to do so, he thinks that is the best thing to do. And I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. 17 years of this type of, well, it hasn't been the full 17 years, but I would say more so in the thick of how he has chosen to show up and his lack of awareness. A good 6-7 years, and I'm exhausted. And what doesn't exhaust me is choosing myself. It does not exhaust me to choose myself. I have great things ahead of me, known and unknown, and I want to bask in that. I don't want to keep worrying about why a motherfucker don't like me and why motherfuckers treating me the way that they are. I'm going to remove myself from people, places, and environments, people, places, and situations that cannot choose me, you know? Like, I've gotten a taste of freedom, peace, happiness, joy. The more I let go, the more joy I make room for, and I love that for me, man. And to feel that joy is priceless. It really is priceless. I want more of it. And every decision that I make that's involving me moving away from what isn't for me, when I move in alignment, I get to, that's me letting the universe know I'm ready for what it is that you haven't been on a budget about. You've been waiting for me to let go so that I can receive more. Yes, it is hard. I have to get more water. I have to get fruit because the water is not doing. I have one of those heat headaches. It's very hard. I actually, because of the situation with my son, I must say, like, my feeling, I'm sensitive, man, and my feelings have been so hurt. I have been dealing with my own disappointment and grief and how I thought life was gonna be. I have to grieve who I was. I have to grieve who I thought my son was. I have to grieve the version of motherhood that I thought I was going to be expressing. I'm grieving a lot. And as I do that, even the old parts of me, while I'm grieving, I'm trying to enjoy, I'm trying to be as present as possible because I'm ascending so quickly because I have the capability of letting go of so much. It's like, so I have to make sure that I keep myself grounded. And I do feel very grounded, I must say. I do feel very grounded. I feel very grounded and clear. But I also have other emotions in that. I want to cry right now, but it's too fucking hot. I gotta save all of my moisture. Oh man, like I'm sad and happy. So yeah. I also explained to my son like the societal standard that he's basing me off of is very fake, you know. All of, let me give an example. Like when my son does things, before this particular situation where I called him out on how he's been showing up and who I see him as, I was honest with him and I told him I was growing increasingly uncomfortable around him. And I was trying to figure out why. And I would try to have conversations with him, but it was me initiating these conversations. It wasn't, again, like he's very nonchalant. It's just like straight. It's not much that comes from him. And because of that, when he does show some type of, when he's expressive, to me, because I read people, it's very performative. And I don't do well with people who perform because that's not authentic. And if you can't meet me with authenticity, it's not going to work, you know. So I proceeded to ask him if when he was giving me hugs and telling me he loves me, was it just something that he taught himself to do and said he has to keep doing it because I feel that it was very performative. Because if I'm not dropping him off from school or whatever the case may be, I don't hear from him. He doesn't try to have a conversation with me or anything like that. I like your top, and he's very performative. And his response was that every time he would try to talk to me, it seems like I had an attitude or was upset. And my son has never asked me, am I okay? And I told him that. I was like, but you don't even bother to ask me if I'm okay. You know, I can't recall if every time, I know. I can't say for certain if every single time my son has come to me, I have had an attitude, but I can say that if that did happen, I know for sure it wasn't all the time, but if it was happening frequently or if at any given time, I was never shown concern. And he took that on as, he said it was every single time. He said he takes that on as me having an attitude or being upset with him. There's nothing I can do about that. Especially if you choose not to talk to me about anything. You don't have you just assume that I have an attitude with you. Are you aware that you may have done something or that I don't know of? Like, what the fuck is going on? You're not going to try to confuse me because you don't want to take accountability for how you've chosen to show up, the lack thereof concern, and how you've chosen to show up. And then when I would show up for him and talk to him, and it's just, he would push me away. It's just the more rigid, he becomes more rigid. If he expressed to me that if I say something or did something that he doesn't like, and I can articulate to him, okay, moving forward, this is like, I agree with that. I apologize, and moving forward, this is what I intend to do. Meeting him in the middle, common ground, and he would very nonchalantly, like, okay. And I do it, I show up. I even ask him when things go astray again, you know, are you upset about something that you didn't talk to me about before? Did I do something? Do you want to talk about anything? Did I change the behavior? Yes. And anyway, I'm rambling. And I feel like I'm making an excuse. I'm making excuses for his behavior. I know what I've done. I know how I've shown up because I consciously show up. And that's what we was talking about. I was explaining to him about being a conscious parent or just being a conscious individual. And it's exhausting, especially when you're met with resistance. You know, you can't be in a relationship of any kind, romantic or platonic, business, if the other parties are not conscious enough to be intentional or to care or to be able to learn, hold space to learn and grow with you so the two of you can grow together. That's why I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. You know, a lot of mothers, they wear this badge of honor, like, oh yeah, I've read it. The ones that have had issues with their children, and they wear this badge of honor because that child or children were very disobedient, disrespectful, giving them a hard time, and they become adults, and it's like, yeah, I raised them, and they gave me a hard time, but I did it. Like, I'm not exhausting myself. I'm not going to do something at the detriment of my own fucking health, my own well-being. I take my health very seriously, and it's not just physical. I take my psychological health seriously. I take my mental health seriously, my emotional health, even my spiritual health. I take my entire body, seen and unseen, very seriously. And I'm also flexible because there's things I don't know. I'm still learning, and I'm willing to learn it so that I can be my best self. And not only be my best self, but to be my best self to show up for those that love and care about me, and I care about them. So, yeah. I was just a little astounded that he loves and cares for me from a societal standpoint, and which is not love or care at all, because I am a human being. I am not like everybody else, and that of course that's why he's so flabbergasted at the fact that I'm angry and I'm appalled, and I don't want to deal with him I don't want to further this any longer because he refuses to do the work. Because from a societal standpoint, I'm supposed to tolerate all of this. I'm not supposed to give up. I'm supposed to let him do what he wants. I'm supposed to coddle him while I'm sacrificing and running myself amok. Absolutely not. And it just lets me know that my son has a long way to go in life, quite naturally, which is cool. You know, maybe further down the line as he continues to mature, hopefully, and learn and grow, we'll be able to meet one another in a more grounded, understandable way. If that happens, I look forward to it. If not, I'm okay with that too. I am. We all have our spiritual contracts, and maybe this is it. Clearly, maybe it needs to expire right now in order for it to expand. All right, thank you for listening. I'm going. My phone is getting too hot.